Well, how you doing? I'm Larry Mack. It's 96.1 KLPX. You're watching a Zoom call interview with John Waite here at klpx.com. And I've been a big fan of yours, John, going back to high school. Big fan of the Babies, your solo stuff. Of course, saw you, I think, open up with Bad English for Whitesnake back in 90 or something like that. So I've been following your career a long time. But
Thank you.
You've not stopped being busy. So can you kind of catch us up what you've been doing?
Well, we've been out on the road again for the last 4 months. We started off with a private gig in Ohio, and from there it just snowballed. All the gigs that have been moved from last year and even the year before were suddenly put together for the last 3 months of this year. So we've been out touring. We've been out with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo, playing some pretty big places and theaters and listening rooms. We have a new acoustic record out, so it really does work in front of a massive kind of crowd because we have a percussionist, and it's easy to set up. You just walk in, plug the acoustic guitar in. It's pretty low maintenance, but it's kind of what we're promoting, so we just go for it. I mean, at this point, everybody's kind of vaccinated and being careful, and they're wearing masks. And before you can get into a sizable show of any sort, actually, you have to show proof of vaccination. So we just going straight ahead with it, We're just gonna damn the torpedoes kind of thing,
So the name of the new album is called Wooden Heart. It's an acoustic anthology. You were just talking about it. Is it actually 3 different albums that you put together as one, or?
Yeah, there was about 6 years ago, I made an EP that was acoustic. It had 2 original songs and 2 Richard Thompson songs. I was just wanted to get it out for people that might like acoustic. And then about 4 years ago, I went back in and cut a lot of songs, acoustic. Isn't It Time, Missing You, In God's Shadow, a lot of the heavier songs, and then took the acoustic songs from previous albums and made that volume 2. And then towards the end of the pandemic, I was in the studio trying to cut a record and wasn't really going anywhere. So I cut a bunch of acoustic songs again, plus a Dylan song. And I decided to put the whole thing out, all 3 CDs as one, specially priced kind of thing. It wasn't a lot of work. But it's really been something. It's, as a singer, it's great to have that challenge, and I find myself just going over ground I've gone before with the electric stuff. There's this, you sort of get a character, and then you're that character. With the acoustic stuff, the songs are a challenge because you have to really put the song across with just 2 acoustic guitars, maybe a bass guitar playing softly, but it's just one of those, it's been a real joy. I mean, it's really done well, and I'm surprised at that, but I think people enjoy it,
So you've got some tour dates coming up here through December. It looks like you're staying pretty much, it looks like, except for one in California, pretty much on the East Coast, Midwest. Any plans of doing a bigger tour in 2022, doing the acoustic show?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got offers already coming in from different sources that, looks like we can go out and really do a full scale tour and stay on the road. And we just got back from a 2-week run, and we only had 2 days off before that, but I mean, the more you stay out, the better it gets. And I think the audience is just glad to see it, There's a
Are you
feeling
finding that?
Yeah, there's a feeling of like at last live music, I mean, in Texas, we brought the house down in front of like 6,000 people playing unplugged, and it was like, and you realize that what's been missing, and it's not just the musicians that are chomping at the bit, it's the audience,
People just been waiting, because I'm a big music head, and I went to my first show in 2 years a couple weeks ago, and I went and saw REO Speedwagon perform, and I was like, everybody was just so happy to be at a show again. And
well, it's great, that kind of vibe too is great. I mean, where you go somewhere and everybody's smiling, everybody wants to get up and dance or wants to like be involved or say hello. It's just a great feeling. I think we've been through a really hard time here. And I think psychologically, it's really punishing. It's not going to happen again. It doesn't matter what happens next. People are not going to go into lockdown.
Yeah, I think people, they're chomping at the bit to get back to normalcy.
I really believe that. And they're prepared to take it on the chin too. I think they're prepared to roll with the dice. And I mean, the good news is this new strain of COVID is apparently not bad at all. And if you've got the triple shot, you're okay. I read that in the paper today. So I think we're coming out of this thing faster than we think. There's going to be glitches, but what's new,
Well, the world is full of glitches anyway.
Yeah. The last couple of years, geez, you just don't, I mean, it's hard to read the paper these days,
Well, it's interesting because, as a music fan and being in the business, the side of the business that I'm in, I 2020 and 2021, it was the longest time that I did not see a concert from the time I started seeing concerts when I was like 13 years old.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I got into the business, I was seeing concerts constantly. And then all of a sudden it was like, can't go to it. Well, I caught up on a lot of the live concert streaming that were already, recorded. Yeah. But what was it like for, you're a musician, you're creative. I know you're creative in multiple ways. You're also a painter and stuff like that. But what was it like for you not being able to get on the road and perform?
Well, I thought I would write a book. I thought I would write, not a memoir. I was thinking about writing a fictional thing, like a real challenge, like I had a plot in my head and I didn't. And then I thought, well, I'll just write a bunch of songs, and I didn't. And I think I didn't feel energized or had a reason to do anything because there was no audience to give it to. When you make something, it's to share. And when you write a song, you don't write a song to put it in your back pocket and think, I've just written a great song. You want to communicate with people. And the impetus to create was just, not to use really weird words here, but it was stymied. I was like, who am I singing to? Who am I writing to? And I switched off for the better part of a year.
Oh, wow.
I just dissolved in front of the TV, drank a lot of wine, went to bed early, got up early, looked at the walls, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But as we started to come out of it, like I said, with the Wooden Heart thing, the moment I went in the studio to record the acoustic stuff, I felt this tremendous surge of energy. And it was right back. It was like riding a bicycle, as they say, it was just like straight back to it. So there was that down period, and then there wasn't. And then I was on the road. So, hey presto, I even went to England. I flew to England to see my mother, and I flew back, and it was difficult. But you kind of make things happen. If they're not going to happen, you find a way of making them happen. And I think that's what's happening with COVID and people working around it,
What was it like that first show back for you?
It was easy. It was a private show. This guy was an extremely wealthy guy. He'd hired us to be at his birthday party in Dayton in this massive hotel. And he was a guitar collector. He was a hip guy. It was just very comfortable because it was so informal,
Mm-hmm.
And as we got to the point where we were doing shows like walking out in front of people, that was a little strange. That felt like, being a kid again. But the moment you hit the first chord, it's just right back to it,
That's got to be such a great feeling for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's for so long we were, you kind of mentioned you kind of went into the wine and kind of sat in front of the TV. I was talking to a buddy of mine about it during that. He goes, it's like the whole world at once got depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it, really. Everybody, you'd go to the store in the morning and you'd have to be 6 feet apart with a mask on. There wasn't a vaccine, so nobody really knew what was going on. And then you had to go home. If you weren't out doing something that was absolutely essential, you could get like pulled over and, you know, the police. And so there was this feeling of being caged, you know, and like you said, just a dark cloud, you know. And I don't know how we all came through it. I
Well,
mean,
hopefully stronger.
yeah, yeah. You know, I think there's time to reflect and there's time to reevaluate what you're doing here. And, you know, God bless us, man. It's, you know, when you think things couldn't get worse, somebody always throws a wrench in the machine, you know.
Well,
But that's the human nature, is to come out of it swinging, you know.
did you, you know, because of what you went through and what we all went through, did once you started playing live again, did it, I know it sparked the energy for you, but did it start sparking like a creative energy for some new music or a
Yeah.
book or
I mean,
whatever?
now when I pick up the guitar, every time I pick up a guitar, I start writing something new and a new melody comes into my head. But it was always like that. It was always like you pick it up, hit a G major, and you'd sing something, or you play some sort of voicing on the neck, and a melody would come out, and you had a lot to talk about. You had a lot of things built up in your mind. It's just like it was, but I think maybe now, because of all the difficulty we've been through, maybe there's more information there. Maybe they've unearthed more than we thought we knew as musicians. And I mean, I listened to a lot of strange music. I didn't just listen to what I usually, I mean, I was listening to Bill Evans, which I love, you know, the jazz keyboard player, a lot of Hendrix, a lot of blues, John Mayall, Free. I mean, I was going back and listening to the stuff that I really loved. So it was kind of like going back and reading the first few pages of a book. You know, it was like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it was very energizing. Yeah.
So it kind of refreshed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like a reset.
Yeah. It is. It's like recalibrating a machine, you know. It's like, you know, but that's what's great about it. I mean, the world has changed a lot. I mean, the major cities are now, I mean, I'm in Santa Monica and a lot of it is boarded up. And there's a huge amount of homeless people. And it's kind of like the new world, you know. New York City is just, you know, God knows how they're going to sort that out. But we have to sort out the homeless problem without just moving people along.
Yeah.
These people are in trouble. That they can't be just tossed aside. They're human beings. And if I get on my horse here, high horse, and preach anything, I'd like to be, you know, say that. I mean, there seems to be a lot of anger towards people that are mentally unstable. And like today, in the paper, somebody burnt down, a homeless guy burnt down a Christmas tree, a massive Christmas tree in New York City. Oh, wow. He's been arrested and the whole thing. But, you know, you can't just keep arresting people and throwing them in jail and then letting them out. We're talking about like treatment and centers that are going to take care of people. You know, this is America.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a lot of people think, and I've seen people, I'm sure you've heard, they think homeless people are lazy when actually they're in a situation beyond their control, whether it's mental illness or an economic situation that spiraled way out of their control.
I was in a restaurant yesterday on the street in a very salubrious part of Santa Monica, and this guy rolled up with a yellow suitcase, nice one, and a bag and a computer bag, and he was well dressed. But if you see anybody with a suitcase walking on the street, they're generally homeless. And he ordered some food and he had a glass of wine and he got on his computer and then he packed it all up and went away again. And I thought to myself, is that guy homeless? Probably. And he looked like a well-to-do middle-class guy. And a lot of people, especially with the pandemic, are losing their way of making a living. You know, it's like the downward spiral. So if we got to that point, you know, where next?
Yeah, we got to help the people, and we got to help. And it's a multifaceted problem. It's not just, you know.
Yeah. You know, you got to trace it back to how you can sort it out at its root, and then you can't just like put a band-aid on things all the time, because that's what's wrong now.
Well, and the Band-Aids get ripped off eventually,
Yeah,
and they're right back where they're at,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So what plans do you have for 2022? Obviously, we talked a little bit about touring. Any new music on the horizon? I know that I was reading about you loved art. You like to do
Yeah.
art. Are
Yeah.
you doing any stuff like that? You doing any showcases? I mean, I was looking at your
I mean,
stuff.
yeah, no, it's actually occurred to me that some of the pieces are actually pretty strong. And I've been doing this thing called a selfie that you can get on the internet at johnwaiteworldwide.com. But they're like 8x10 or 5x7, just a quick sketch of me playing a guitar or a picture of like, I've actually done a few portraits of Patti Smith or some composers that I like. There's some abstract stuff. But it's, you know, I've been sort of, as I sell it, and I've been selling a lot of it, and it's become a real avenue of, because I went to art school for 4 years. I can paint, right? So my interest in art has always been pretty strong. But I think as next year comes on, it might be conceivable to compile enough stuff to have a gallery showing. And it all sounds very hoity-toity, doesn't it? But I mean, it's just painting.
Sounds really cool.
It's just painting. But I would like to, you know, it just takes that one thing where somebody takes you seriously in that kind of world, and you're in. You know, but right now I'm just playing with it because music comes first, and the art thing has to come second. I've got a band that needs to play, that needs to go out and pay the rent, and an audience that wants to see me play. And that's my first priority, really.
Well, I hope you get through Arizona, at least up to Phoenix. And wildest dream would be to have you come to Tucson, but it'd be great.
No, I think we just went through Arizona. You know, some of these things, they're private. Some of these things are smaller gigs. Some of them are like major, and you just run with it. You know, I mean, we could get a gig for next week, and sometimes you don't have time to publicize. You're just on a plane or driving. But I think it's going to be a great new year. I really do believe it's going to be packed with live shows. I really do believe that.
I see a difference this year than I did even last year. You know, last year there was a lot of unknown about the 3 shots. Nobody really knew what was going on. Then there was the hesitation, and now I'm seeing more and more people seem to be, okay, I'll do it if it helps. And I've been to a few shows already, and everybody like, it's kind of strange. It seemed like a few of the shows I went to prior, even though I enjoyed them, there was this, oh, another show. But now there's this, we're at a show.
Yeah.
You know, and people are excited to be out again. And it's
well, I think they're relaxing a bit, you know, because of it isn't so tense. Because like you say, they're getting that 3rd shot, and everybody's sort of like playing the game. They're not like, there's no fuck you about it. Everybody's, I think a lot of people are really aware that they have a tremendous responsibility. You know, it's okay to say, you will not tell me what to do. And it's a personal choice, and I get it. But don't just say that and then walk around without a mask. I mean, have some respect, man. I mean, people are dying. People who were very vocal about not getting the shot. I mean, you see it in the paper every day. His last words were, I was wrong, get the shot. And I mean, I know my girlfriend got the booster yesterday, and she's in bed. You know, there's side effects, you know, some people get sick, but you bounce right back, and then you're in the game. So, but like you say, I think people are more relaxed. They feel that they've got a way out, and they feel that they're vaccinated, and it's like, it's cool to be out. It's cool, you know, you can breathe again, you know.
Well, I've actually seen a few of my friends in the last 6 months that I have not seen outside of a Zoom call. People face to face again is a
Me
wonderful
too,
thing.
man. I hadn't seen my band for a year.
Oh,
we were shooting this. They were shooting this documentary. I got a documentary coming out next year on me, and they had a film crew come and interview me and all that. And then Tim, my bass player, shows up in Santa Monica. I said, you got to be in this thing, you know, come down. So he came down and they filmed that. And he filmed us saying hello for the first time in maybe 14 months.
Wow.
And it was like the weirdest thing, you know, and it's just like, you know, like my brother almost, you know, the bass player. And you realize we're looking at each other and we're great friends. You're looking at each other going, Jesus, I haven't seen you for. And part of you deals with that. And the other part is thinking like, you know, it's like being in a pack of dogs, you know, it's like one goes missing and you're going like, where's the other dog? You know, it's like, it's family. And you really miss those people, you know.
Who is in your band?
Well, I've got Tim Hogan playing bass. He's been with me for like 15 years. I got Mark Rashadi, who came from nowhere, who's been with me for about 8 years. He was a guitar player, just playing local gigs, and we took him in, and he's just gone from strength to strength. It's insane. And on the drums, we've had Roger Carter, who's like in our band, really, and Alan Childs playing drums. That he's in the Bowie tribute that's coming up on his birthday. He played with me in the No Breaks band in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And Alan was the drummer in David Bowie's band for years. So it's an interchangeable thing with the drummers who's available. But that's the band. And when we play a bigger place, Kyle Cook from Matchbox 20, he comes in, so we have 2 guitars, you know, and it's a bigger deal. That's phenomenal because me and Kyle go back, you know, 10 years. We wrote half an album and worked and toured Europe together. And so there's these great musicians that are sort of coming in and out of the picture.
And then when you tour, obviously you're doing the acoustic thing right now. We're playing that's the song. I just got it the other day. I loved it. Listened to it the other day. Not Dark Yet.
Yeah.
The acoustic version. I really love it. We're going to play it. Before we move on to the next part of the interview, I want to ask you about, can you tell me a little bit about the song, Not Dark Yet?
Well, it's a Dylan song, and I heard it like maybe 18 years ago. It's a very dark song. It's like an existential blues song. It's, you know, it's the dimming of the light, and it's a big song by any standard of what you think of Dylan. It's a big song. It's one of those songs. And when I was in the studio wondering what to do acoustically, I thought I might as well jump in the deep end. So I had a go at that. My version is about 1.5 minutes longer than Dylan's. So I slowed it down. And I didn't listen to the original. I knew it. So I just picked out the chords. And Shane Fontaine came in, played guitar. He played with Sting and Springsteen and played on a lot of my solo records. Luis Maldonado from Train, he came in and played on it. It's just one of those songs. By the time I finished that, I was playing it to people saying, is this too much? You know, is it too raw? And then I realized I didn't care. You know, I mean, you just throw what you can at it. You get lost in a song, and that's the best you can do. Once you stand back and start wondering what people are going to think about it, you're losing. The idea is to just keep your head up and go forward. But that opened the door to like 5 other songs being recorded. I-95, which is a really cool song. I like that one. And, you know, When You Were Mine, More is a good one. And Anthony Kryzan from New Jersey, I'd written with him a few songs. He just sent the guitar track in, and I just pretended he was in the studio and sang along, you know. Oh, wow. It was great, you know, but it only took like 3 days to get everything. That's kind of the beauty of doing acoustic music. It's like what it is, you know.
Well, I have a friend of mine. She hosts a national show called The Acoustic Storm. I don't know if you've sent her any of your music, but I'm going to forward it to her.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I think she might like it. I think it isn't like, it's the real deal for me. You know, you never know what people are going to think of your stuff, especially Dylan. But I made it.
Have you ever heard from any of the people whose music you've covered?
No, I don't think a lot of them are aware of it. I'm sure that Dylan knows I've done that. He's very shrewd. And there's only been a couple of people attempted that song. Eric Clapton
Mhm.
Did it. But it's like I say, it's a big song, it's really something.
You are obviously hopefully in early 2022 you'll be back on the road again. Are you planning on continuing the acoustic tour? Are you planning on an electric tour down the road as well, or
Well, it's
is
the
it
same
just you're going to
thing.
follow
It's
it?
it's the same thing. Sometimes what we're doing now in the last few shows is that I come out with the guitar player. We both play acoustics and do like 5 unplugged songs, maybe 5 or 6, just whatever comes into our head.
Oh wow.
And then the band walk out in the middle of one of the acoustic songs, pick it up. We finish that song, and then hit them with all the big singles like Change, Back on My Feet, Missing You.
Mhm.
Just keep going, and it's like 2 worlds at once. And I think that will be how we approach just about everything it's just worked, I mean, we took a shot on it because everybody loved the acoustic stuff so much. But you want to give people something they can get their teeth into if they love things like the really big songs, the rock songs. You want to do that too. So it's like a double-sided coin, it really is. And it's very enjoyable to cover both ends of the spectrum.
Well, I can't wait to see the set live. I'm hoping you get through to Arizona again in 2022.
Yeah,
Make it one of my concert experiences again, because
that'd be great. Yeah, I'd like to see in person, Larry.
I saw you back in the 80s when Missing You was a big song. And then
Yeah.
I saw you with That English. And I would love to see you again on this tour. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll just wait for the promoters to announce the dates.
Yeah, no, well, get ready, because I think, Tucson's a major market, major deal, major city. And we're trying to go, and I mean, you got a lot of catching up to do.
Mhm.
It's like going into Detroit. It's like we're going into Ohio to play more gigs, because that's a stronghold for us. But it's like making sure the check goes through. You have this bond with your audience, and they're stuck with you for years and years through thick and thin. And the least we can do now is go out of our way to go into those cities and play no matter what. So there is this sort of catch up. But it's like family almost. You remember those people and you want to see them again, and it's part of the gig to go and deliver.
I've always wondered. I've been to a ton of concerts. I've seen a bunch of bands a bunch of different times. And I know that when you're on stage with the lighting, sometimes you can only see the first couple rows.
Yeah.
When you're touring over the years and you meet hundreds of thousands of people over the history of your career, do you ever look out in the crowd while you're playing and sometimes go, I remember that person? You don't know their name, but you've seen their face or something. Does that ever happen?
I have a story. I was playing some big festival somewhere. There's about 5,000 people. And we're playing this gig. This is like 15 years ago. We're playing this gig. It's really going down well. I mean, the bigger stages are easy. We have 2 guitars. It's very loud, and we're playing. And I look about 20 rows down, and I think I see the drummer. I think I see the drummer, like looking at me like this, and I had to turn around, and there's the drummer. But that was the weirdest experience.
The guy was his doppelganger.
Yeah. He was just his twin brother come to see the show. But that was one of the weirdest. I mean, I swear to God that happened. And it was like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, there's some hardcore fans that fly in from all over, sometimes from Japan,
Oh, wow.
sometimes we have, from Great Britain. We have people that just show up, that just make it a week holiday, to come to America, see me, and take some time off and fly back. But they're dedicated. But that brings us back to playing those cities that you have the biggest following. It's part of the job. You owe these people a lot more than just showing up. It's like making contact and being in the moment with them. And if you get a chance to shake hands and say hello, spend some time with them. I wouldn't be anywhere without them. And like I said, through thick and thin, I've had this sort of fan base, they call it. But I appreciate it.
I tell you, one thing I thought before we wrap things up is one of the things you were selling, you had your autograph, but you had your thumbprint.
Oh yeah,
And I thought that was, I've never seen that before. I thought that was a really cool touch.
yeah. No, I thought, I mean, you could, if it didn't have the thumbprint, it might not be legit. You know, I mean, in when you're signing a legal document, sometimes they ask you to put like, a stamp or and I thought, well, you put John Waite, but you put the thumbprint on before. It's definitely John Waite. So they're lyrics that we have on the internet, johnwaiteworldwide.com. It'll be an authentic lyric if it's got my thumbprint on it.
That's a really cool idea. I thought that was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
No.
So very cool.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank you so much. Obviously, we hit your website, your album. Hopefully, we're going to see a tour here in 2022. I'm pretty sure you seem pretty confident, and that means it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And hopefully get through Arizona, or at least if you have some dates, I'll be on your website, johnwaiteworldwide.com, to see if you have dates in California. I'll drive out.
God bless you, son.
You know, so it'd be great to get out of the heat and get
Yeah,
it's that ocean weather.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful. I mean, it's like it's about like 60 degrees and it's breezy, and at night it's foggy. When you get out of bed in the morning, it's foggy. I went down to the pub yesterday, and the King's Head, and they have a Christmas tree up and a fire burning, and man, it's like being in England. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a great time to be in Santa Monica. Come and hang out, man.
Yeah, I'm going to, definitely. Well, John, thank you so much. And again, johnwaiteworldwide.com. Hear the new song, Not Dark Yet, the new acoustic song on KLPX. And of course, I'll be telling y'all if John is bringing his band into the Tucson area, or at least the Phoenix area. And hopefully we'll give away some tickets and get some people out there. And I'm definitely going to be at that show as well.
Sounds great to me.